This is your weekly crypto news report. You guys loved the last one, so we're doing it again. Today, we're going to cover a hacker who stole $600 million, then was offered a job, what's going on with Cardano ADA. We're going to cover Facebook's new crypto that is set to launch very soon. Visa is now in the NFT game, and even more, it's a pretty wild week. So this is going to be a good one. If you wouldn't mind stimulating that like button, and let's go ahead and hop right into the news. To the first story, the crypto hacker who was offered a job after stealing from the Polynetwork. So the DeFi platform Polynetwork was recently hacked for $610 million worth of crypto, and the events that have followed this are honestly unbelievable. So here's a quick recap of what happened. Polynetwork was hacked for $610 million through a cross-chain vulnerability. So Polynetwork then promptly released this statement, which basically says, you hacked us for a lot of money. Please give it back. And if you don't, every country is going to be looking for you.
I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you.
The hacker actually responded to this message by sending back some crypto with messages embedded into the transactions. The hacker immediately revealed that they intended on returning the money, and they were just trying to expose a flaw in the system, which is why they earned the name Mr. White Hat. Fast forward today. After many transactions, the money has actually all been sent back except for just a little bit of USDT that was frozen in the process. This was a massive shock to many, as a lot of people were skeptical of Mr. White Hat from the start, saying that he was lying and he was just going to keep a chunk of the change for himself, which clearly ended up surprisingly, crazily, not being true. So Polynetwork just revealed that this vulnerability has now been fixed and reviewed, and they seem to be so happy with the hacker's ability to uncover this vulnerability that they actually offered him a job as their chief security advisor, which I can imagine is a very, very well-paying job. Not only that, Polynetwork also gave the hacker $500,000 as a reward for exposing the flaw. So regardless of if he takes the job or not, he's kind of coming out on top here. But I mean, $600 million sounds a little bit more nice than $500K, but at least it's a legal $500K. Not everyone, though, is agreeing with the job offer or the reward, as some believe that the hacker did not have good intentions from the start, that he was actually just scared into giving it back because all the countries are going to be after him. And this is definitely a possibility, but at the end of the day, everyone seems to be happy here. The hacker got his bonus paycheck and a job offer. The Polynetwork got their money back, and we all got a pretty good story out of it. Next up, Visa buys a CryptoPunk NFT. So on Monday, Visa announced their purchase of a CryptoPunk number 7610. Now, this is an NFT that's basically a pixelated picture of a woman with green eyes and a mohawk. Now, how CryptoPunks work is certain features like hair color or a zombie skin color are more rare, thus they're worth more money. Although I can imagine now that Visa bought this one, that particular one has got to be worth a whole lot more than what they purchased for already. But this obviously begs the question, why in the world would one of the biggest payment processors in the world be interested in an NFT? And it turns out that kind of no reason at all. They just wanted to celebrate the recent birth and boom of the NFT space. So Visa's actually done things like this before, and a perfect example is with credit cards, where they locked away some of the very first paper credit cards as relics of commerce. So while some think that NFTs are just a temporary fad, it seems that Visa thinks that this is going to be the next big staple of commerce, or worth enough to buy one and stow away in their vault, their digital vault in Anchorage, Alaska. So all this has made the prices skyrocket for CryptoPunks. When Crypto Slate reported on this at the beginning of August, the average selling price per CryptoPunk was $135,000, up 53% from the week prior, and they're now selling for even more at an average selling price of $167,000, and the current record sale is over $1 million. And why did that one sell for so much? Well, it had 3D glasses, of course. So it's a crazy world that we're living in. Now, maybe this is going to both double for a relic and an investment for Visa. Only time's going to tell here. Next up, we have Bitcoin ATM. So not long ago, El Salvador announced that they're going to make Bitcoin a legal tender for their country, which is obviously a very cool idea. At least cool marketing-wise, at the very least. But wouldn't that require a bit more infrastructure in El Salvador? Well, they're now finally putting pen to paper here and taking action and setting up infrastructure for Bitcoin. Soon, Bitcoin will actually be used in everyday transactions in El Salvador. So they are now installing 200 Bitcoin ATMs and 50 in-person kiosks that will launch on September 7th. Now, citizens of El Salvador are excited about starting to use Bitcoin to avoid decade high fees, as the country pays $400 million every year in currency remittance fees, according to their president. All of these Bitcoin transactions will take place in El Salvador's Chivo app. The app is going to support Bitcoin transactions and tipping, as well as USD transactions, all in one place on this app. So it's pretty cool. The president also made it clear that while they're heavily integrating Bitcoin into their economy, they're still going to maintain infrastructure cash and digital fiat transactions so that Bitcoin is just an option for citizens. That way no one's forced into Bitcoin, just one cool option. A small use case here with a ton of potential with the upcoming Bitcoin infrastructure is tipping. So with that Chivo app, tourists are going to be able to tip service workers with Bitcoin through the app. So as the country grows and tourism continues to increase, this is going to be a major positive impact to their economy. I mean, it kind of makes me want to go and visit just because of all the Bitcoinery that's going on there. Next up, crypto buying through PayPal goes live in Britain. So in February, PayPal hinted at an upcoming Bitcoin buying and selling support in Britain, which was long awaited. Well, recently, PayPal hinted that they would be following through on those promises, although some complaints have already arisen on this, as PayPal will not support basic crypto wallet functionality like withdrawing and depositing funds, only buying and selling, which is similar to Robinhood's IOU crypto buying type system. PayPal previously said that they felt it was their duty to allow users in Britain to explore cryptocurrency, so it makes sense that these complaints are now arising that you don't actually own the keys of your crypto in your PayPal wallet. Next up is crazy KuCoin growth. KuCoin has seen some massive growth in their user base recently, and they recently released a report that showed an increase of 1,144% in their user base, which now totals 10 million people. KuCoin has also seen a 791% year-over-year increase in daily trading volume, which is pretty common in crypto recently, but that's still insane numbers. And this speed of growth is ahead of basically everyone else. On top of this, KuCoin has seen a rise in female users, which now make up a record-breaking 38% of their user base, which is pretty unheard of in crypto exchanges. Most crypto exchanges follow anywhere between 10 and 25% of women. Only 1 in 4 women in the US own crypto at all, so as you can see, 38% is a pretty high number. Now, their native token, KCS, has also been performing exceptionally well, which is up roughly 10x from this time last year. Now, I actually use KuCoin for all of my crypto trading and lending, and I've loved the platform so far. Once I got past the small little learning curve in the beginning, it's gotten some more advanced features. It just has a ton of features. So once you know how to navigate, it gets a lot better. And if you want to join, feel free to use my link down in the description. You'll save on trading fees if you use that link. If you're confused on how to use the platform, I have a video on that as well, which I will pin above. Next up, Cardano exploding. But is there a correction coming? As of now, Cardano has touched right around $3, which is well above what we expected at this point in time, considering that the launch of smart contracts won't happen until September 12th. But I'm not complaining whatsoever, as this being my largest crypto holding. So this recent, somewhat unexpected bull run, unexpected in the magnitude, I expected it, but not quite to this level. It's sparking conversations of a $5 price point, including my video on it yesterday that covers how exactly that could happen. However, bottom line is, there's really no telling how ADA's price will move before and after this smart contract launch. We are in completely uncharted territory here. If you compare the current bull run to the bull run of Q1, the new floor of ADA is probably around $1.73, but there's no way to know for sure, as the conditions are completely different this time around. Now, my strategy at this point is to just slowly add to my position through this crazy rocket ship period, but I won't be adding any huge positions until things settle down just a little bit and we understand a little better where things are sitting. Now, I could get on here and just hype you up and say, you know, Cardano's going to the moon overnight, and I'd probably get 100,000 views on that video, but I think it's important to be optimistically realistic here. I'm not here to just pour out blind faith and get people who follow blind faith either. I want to build a smart community of realistic type investors. Now, I'm very, very optimistic for the long term for the technology, and I think $5 will likely be a reality at some point, but I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, that's definitely going to happen next week or the week after that. And I just think that's important, at least for me to be able to sleep at night. There's one thing that we do know for sure, though, that the next 3 weeks of ADA leading up to the Alonzo hard fork will be exciting, unpredictable, and volatile. And I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. And I'm going to be reporting on it. So just make sure you are subscribed to this channel if you're at all interested in crypto news, especially in ADA. Next up, Facebook Coin. Facebook has had a plan to launch their own stablecoin called Diem for quite some time now. Last week, they announced Novi, the platform that Diem will run on. They announced that that's ready to launch, having passed some regulatory checks. Facebook had actually attempted to launch a cryptocurrency in 2019 called Libra, but this was immediately shot down by regulators in an attempt to protect Facebook's 2.7 billion users for something they still viewed as, quote, widely unregulated. Now they're kind of back at it again after 2 years. Facebook has spent a lot of time developing Novi and Diem in preparation for a second attempt. And in the meantime, the US government seems to be slightly more open to crypto projects, a little bit anyways. Now there are concerns with Facebook having their own coin. Facebook controlling its own payment network and currency kind of raised some red flags for some, as an entity as large as Facebook moves around massive amounts of money every single second through advertisers, data, sponsors, you name it, and having control over the store of value used in the transactions may be a conflict of interest. Now, some people are against it, some people are for it, like Howard Krieger, CEO and founder of unfederalreserve.com. He commented on this saying, if they can move value around on their own rails between different companies and actually build, generate, and sell stuff that you and I want. In essence, they created a micro ecosystem that completely cuts out the US government altogether, and he's all for it at least. This is going to be an interesting one to say the least, and it might mean that you want to put Facebook on your stock watch list just to see what happens here. If Facebook manages to attract, let's say, $25 billion into their stablecoin, this means that they'd be able to lend out that money in their reserves for a profit. So even if they lend that out into bonds at 1% interest, that comes out to $250 million a year in profit through interest payments for Facebook, which could be just another big catalyst for the stock, not to mention any economies of scale in using this in transactions within the Facebook ecosystem. So it could be potentially big for the stock. And that's going to do it for crypto news today. Just make sure you give this video a like, make sure you subscribe, and also join my newsletter, which is linked down below if you want even more news. It's completely free, emailed right to your email inbox. We cover crypto news every single day on there. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.